Hello YouTube, insert generic swearing plus T joke here. Cid Highwind is getting an LD and a rework and I'm here to talk about it. So in this video, before you pull on Cid LD, I'll give you some things to think about before you potentially use your limited resources. If you're new here, I play both JP and Global and I use that experience and knowledge to help inform others. I want to hear what you all think too, so go ahead and leave a comment, and while you're here, like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, check out my weekly stream, the Ranting Hour, good stuff. Playlist in the description. Cid is a ranged wind damage dealer with some extra utility in his kit via heals and dispel. His LD serves to up his damage and kind of alter the way he plays. His rework was incredibly minor. Skill 1 now does 80% splash damage, still only 1 HP attack, and his skill 2 is now 2 HP attacks. These skills are low damage, but they're not the focus of his new kit. Cid's damage is mainly focused around his EX that he gets up every other turn and his LD follow-up. Let's talk EX first, 90 stuff. Additional ability gives him more attack up and brave cap, and his 90 upgraded his EX so that he gets more offensive stats. His EX that has 13 HP attacks on it, wow, now does full 100% AoE damage after each HP attack. He also drops a Wind Imperil. His LD does 9 AoE Brave plus HP attacks with refund in the middle. It all does split damage, and he drops a Wind Imperil generic. His new overhead gives him Wind Enchant and some offensive stats. The overhead is a stackable buff that goes up every time Cid attacks a target. Using the actual LD pushes it to 3. When the overhead is at 3, after a party member acts, Cid will do a follow-up attack. This follow-up is a Brave gain into 6 AoE Brave plus HP attacks. Split AoE, drops the Wind Imperil, and goes back down to 1 stack. His LD call is nice for the damage, but otherwise not that important, and his high armor split leans evenly between Brave and HP attacks. So how do you use Cid in practice? Well, you're not going to be very happy with his damage on his skills, but his EX is up every other turn. Pulse damage, I really like that term. Thank you whoever came up with that. So every other turn, Cid is doing his massive EX, and if you scale this up, it hits nicely. I'm not quite sure if you need to remove a speed passive to achieve this consistent EX recharge or not, but it is a thing. So he's gonna go big damage, and then small damage, and then big damage again. And every 3 turns, after an ally goes, he'll do the follow-up. So he's got some decent damage, and he's got Dispel if you need it on his skill 2, and the heals on if you need it on his HP plus. You really just gotta make sure he gets turned so you can get that follow-up off, and refresh the LD when you need it. That being said, what are Cid's strengths? Damage. He's got a really high damage ceiling, considering his EX has 13 HP attacks, my god. Although, I don't quite think that ceiling is realistic because it's only a single Brave attack before the HP attack each time, so you'd really need stuff to ramp it up, like Kate, Saz, HP damage effects, BT effects, etc. But every other turn, and then after his third turn, and then the ally goes, he's doing some damage there as well. So he's got solid output. He brings his own weakness damage and weakness damage up too, so he's probably gonna always be hitting hard. And delay on EX is nice to have. Weaknesses, I don't think he really stands out as a damage dealer. The off-turn follow-up on party turns is cool. It's a nice gimmick, but is it really that great? I honestly don't think Cid does enough to stand out as an LD only damage dealer. And even if he were to get up there and be competitive, you really gotta invest hard in him, ultimate weapon, blue, etc. But that's par for the course. His non-EX and LD, or follow-up turns I should say, feel really bad. 1 and 2 HP attacks, ugh. At least Noel has his BT behind it to support that kind of playstyle, but Cid, granted if you build around his damage it can be up there, but you don't go all the way, it's gonna feel really bad. So how do you team build around Cid? You want Cid capping his HP attacks, so the normal HP damage up. His follow-up will benefit from Brave gains because he has refunds in the middle. Other than that though, just the normal increase the Brave and HP damage, make sure you're hitting the caps, give him multiple weapons so you can hit even harder. I could see Kate Sith being a great friend for Cid, Saz, Fran to help him hit harder, though he probably does that on his own because he's C90 at this point. Lots of options. And outside of Divine Ifrit, I don't think there's really any fights Cid particularly shines in. Maybe the Sayador fight where you need to dispel, and the Sephiroth fight where you need additional attack, but other than that, So what are my plans? In JP, I got Cid's LD because I thought it was cool, but I got cold feet and I did not want to invest in him all the way. So I didn't blow his armor, didn't get a spear ultimate weapon, and he felt super underwhelming, and I never touched him again outside of farming Divine Ifrit. Not going to repeat that in Global. I'm not going to invest in him. He's a damage dealer, and if you don't invest in your damage dealers, you're not going to see much out of it. So why bother in the first place? He is a skip on my end. I'm well off with damage dealers, and I got BTs, and I'm not going to invest in him because I don't think I'd use him. So I wouldn't get enough returns out of him, so nope. He does rerun down the line alongside Fujin FR, and then Caius's LD reruns along then. He gets Force Wards, Caius and Fujin get LD, 90. But he doesn't get any updates down the line, so wait for his FR. I talked about the event in my Noel BT Plus video, so if you want to hear me glaze over the fight, go check that video out. So before you pull on Cid, What do I think? As always, this is just from a meta perspective. If people need to save or they're on the fence, everyone's viable on the right team, so don't take this as any insult to your favorite character. The only reason I think I could recommend someone get Cid is if they don't have anyone to farm Divine Ifrit. Outside of that, he's in a tough spot being an LD only damage dealer. A blue on Cid and an ultimate weapon investment could be an investment in a BT character instead, and I don't think they did enough to make him stand out. He's got good damage, but if you've been playing for a while and you're a vet, you probably already have good damage. So really, I can't think of any fights he'd go back and clap either. So if you're newer and you have absolutely no one to farm Divine Ifrit with, I think this banner is good for you, but don't expect to use Cid outside of farming the Cosmos. Or you could just take longer and farm without full synergy. Up to you all how you value your resources and your time. If you do decide to go all the way investing in blue armor, ultimate weapon, etc., you won't be mad at them, but ultimately my recommendation is you should probably just skip this banner. Decent consolation if you're going all out for Noel immediately, but definitely not someone I'd recommend chasing. However, you Cid enjoyers, enjoy your goddamn tea. That's all I got. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you're doing with this banner. Check out my Noel video and all my other stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, blah, blah, blah. YouTube stuff. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.